the problem application, event, project management, test management, etc. These are the process applications available. There could be project portfolio management as well. Right. These applications are inbuilt applications that you get when you buy ServiceNow license, right? But the question could be, are these the only applications that you have in system? The answer is no. The list of process applications is not limited, and also ServiceNow gives you facility to create your own custom application, right? For example, if you have to create something like, let's talk about if you want to create Sam's Pizza sales application, you can do that here. If you want to do airline booking application, you can do it here, right? If you want to do some other application, any custom application with a workflow or without a workflow, or a service catalog application, if you want to do any of these applications, you can go ahead and build these applications and use the ServiceNow platform. So the benefit of having these things here is ServiceNow application development is a rapid application development platform, meaning you can quickly build these applications and then you can start using it, right? The turnaround time for these applications are quite low, right? You can quickly build applications. Now, how is that an advantage for you? If you are able to build applications quickly, this is an advantage for you as an organization because you cut cost on various fronts. You save your time and money in terms of resources. You just need to train your resources. You do not have to buy separate softwares or hardware. Use your existing infrastructure, existing softwares to build these kind of applications. Now, there is one concept known as total cost of ownership, right? Account managers or senior managers, directors or VPs will talk about total cost of ownership very much, right? Because this falls into their area. The total cost of ownership, or in short known as TCO, is something that people want to reduce all the time, right? They want to reduce it, the total cost of ownership. And what does this total cost of ownership include? The total cost of ownership includes building an application, using licenses of the application that you licenses, software licenses or hardware that you use for building the application. The cost of these hardware, software, the resources that you deploy to build this application, right? The trainings that you do, and when the application is built, the support initiatives that you do on that application, and the cost that is involved to run that application in a proper manner, all of these contribute to certain cost factor, and that cost factor is known as total cost of ownership. Meaning, if you are owning the software, what is the total cost that you incur on this software to do your business? Uh, are you able to hear me, Nishant, Vikrant, and Abhi? Shruta is saying she is not able to hear.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Oh, maybe there's a problem with the microphone. Okay, so with ServiceNow, the benefit of having ServiceNow is that you can reduce the total cost of ownership magically, right? Now, custom applications becomes a part of it. So you buy ServiceNow licenses not just for these process applications, but also for custom application development, right? And that's not just limited to these two. There are custom application development. This is the process application that you get. You have the help desk set up here. You do discovery to manage your ID software and hardware. You are doing, complete asset management for your applications. You are interfacing your applications to interact with different applications or third-party systems that you have, outside ServiceNow environment. So you can bring all of those things under one umbrella, and that umbrella is known as ServiceNow umbrella here, right? Now, out of these things, we are going to discuss about the custom application development today, and we'll see how we can create custom applications in ServiceNow. And the reason I talk about custom applications today, because we have already dealt with creating database tables. We are done with user administration, etc. We are done with basic fundamentals of ServiceNow, navigations. I don't know what problem she has. Sorry about that. She's having problem with problem listening the session. Now, in order to create applications, you have to go to this application navigator and see you have a list of all the applications available already in the system, right? Now, the custom application that we are going to build will appear somehow in this application navigator, and we'll have all the functionalities in here, and then you can use it, right? But how do we build this here? That's the question, right? Now see, if we go into the problem application, or let's talk about incident application, there are several things into this application. The first one is, if we hit on create new, it presents to me a form, right? An incident form where it takes inputs from me, right? And then when I submit it, it creates a record in the table. So this is an application that I am opening, incident application. When I open this form, when I save it, this is interacting with some sort of database, right? And the information that I save here will be stored somewhere here, right? This information goes into the database in the appropriate tables, etc., and gets stored there. Now let's look at the different other screens. Let's click on this assign to me. When I do assign to me, it's kind of presenting to me a report with certain criteria. And the criteria here is, out of all incidents, pick those which are active, and also pick those, out of those active incidents, pick those for which assigned to field value is system administrator, that is me, right? So that's what it is doing. It's actually fetching a report for you, right? So the first one is the input form, the second one is a report. Let's go to the third one. This is also a report where it is getting all active incidents for you, right? Another one, again a report. Resolve is again a report. Close is again a report. All, overview, and critical incident map. Overview is a page created for you where it will get you a report, or it will get you several reports on one place and will let you see what are the status or different reports that you have, custom reports that you have created on the incident application. Stuff like that, right? And the last one, it gives you a critical incident map, information about, what places, what incidents are being worked right now, stuff like that. So on a global map, you will see different data points, data pins created here that will signify something, that will give you some information. It will give you information about what incident is created at that location. If you hit on this data pin, you will open up this open up this window that will give you that incident detail. Okay, that's the pop-up window here. So that's critical incident map. Again, I'll say this is a kind of a report that you have. It's a mapping report of map type that you can generate here. Okay, and this map type report has been introduced recently. This map type report was not available earlier, but now you have this feature. Probably this was introduced in Helsinki release, which is the latest one, the Helsinki release. So starting from this Helsinki release, we have this map feature available that you can utilize to create different kinds of reports, right? There are several other kinds of reports available. I think there are, a store of report types available in ServiceNow that you can go ahead and use. Out of those are bar charts, horizontal bar chart, vertical bar chart, line chart, pie chart, donut chart, right? And several other charts, calendar as well. Several other reporting types are available with ServiceNow, and they have introduced this new one as well, right? Now, so within this custom application development, within this incident application, what we see here is essentially the first one is the input form, where you take input from the user, and this you store in some sort of database. I'll call it as incident database or incident table, let's say, because the table is ultimately we are using ServiceNow table, and we are using several CMDB tables as well. So the first one is the input form. If you look at the second one becomes your report, right? And that report comes from the data that you have collected over a period of time into the incident table. Okay? And the third one is again a report, but a mapping report, or report of map type. You may ask, if this is a report of map type, what are others? These are reports of list type. These are list of records. So I'll say these are list of records, right? Meaning a report having list of records on certain a list of records, that is a report having a list of records on certain qualifying criteria. And you see here the criteria that we are building on each of these screens. Okay? Now the applications that we will build will be on the same architecture, right? Because as you discussed earlier, ServiceNow uses a single system architecture to build your custom applications, right? And that's the easiest way to build your applications. Okay? Okay, within this application, I forgot to tell you there is one more component that we are unable to see right now, and that component is workflows. The data that you introduce into this incident table, right, and as the data changes, like the state changes for that incident will kick out different workflows for you. different workflow for you, and that's the incident workflow, right? Let's quickly see how the workflow will look like. I'll go to workflow editor, and I'll open the incident workflow. I will have to see which workflow it is talking about. Let's say if it was a comprehensive change application that we took, for example, so this kind of workflow will kick out, right? So in the background, there will be a workflow to the applications that you create. Now, the question could be, is it always required to have a workflow in place? No, that's not always required to have a workflow in place. That's totally dependent on your business needs. If you want to have a workflow-based system where you are extending your decision-making capability to several persons and not just you, so that kind of system is built, you must have a workflow in place, right? So for that, you have a workflow in place. Now there are several other technical components that you use to build your application, right? And when you build your application, you will be using all those components there. For example, on the same incident form, if I go here on create new and I do right click and I do configure, see there are several things like you can configure table, you can configure business rule, create client scripts, UI policies, data policies, UI action, and dictionary. So these are few items that you can go ahead and find out straightforward, but then there are several other components that you utilize to build your forms and your application, right? So we will try to create an application, and then we'll try to create different components in here and try to integrate every component that we have in ServiceNow with that application and see that as a sample application. Okay. Now let's go ahead and see how we can build an application. For that, you need to go into navigation pane or the application navigator and then start typing applications. When you do start typing applications, you will see several applications module coming in here, out of which you have to pick within system applications. You have this application. You will pick this application, which will allow you to see different options to develop a application in ServiceNow. Okay. Now see in the content pane area, you have a new button here that will help you to create a new custom application for you, right? There are different other applications created already that you are able to see here, the listing of the applications, right? If these were not already downloaded, you can go ahead and download using these buttons here. Right now it shows that these are installed in my instance, right? And then there is updates. If certain updates to each of these applications are pushed and that is not installed, right, you can get those updates from here. You can search through different applications that you have created using this search bar here, right? So that's pretty much about the navigation area in the content pane section of the application building area here. So let's go ahead and hit this new button. When I hit this new button, I get several options here, 4 options coming in here. The first one is start from scratch. So this will enable you to start a blank slate with building workflow, activity or API-based apps and components. This is one way of creating an application. Another one is create custom application, and it says create a powerful business application in 2 clicks. Remember I said ServiceNow provides you rapid application development. Yes, it has rapid application development features available where you can go ahead and quickly build applications and very powerful applications having all the features you will expect in any custom application or any product. You will have all those features integrated in this in ServiceNow custom application, right? Now using this custom application feature here, this create custom application button here, the create button here, you can start with an application and start with a table, menu, simple access controls, then build from there using all power of platform behind you, the platform, ServiceNow platform, right? Then the other options are start from a service. If this will be created from a service creator. We'll talk about this in detail later, but think of it as a way to create an application using some services or something like that. We'll talk about this in detail later. The last one is start from a template, which will allow you to create an application based on some of the application templates created already, right? But see here, this says requires plugin activation, right? So this is not activated by default. This is available but not activated. And I think we discussed a little bit about plugins. You can go ahead and see the list of all available plugins using system definition, and within system definition you have these plugins, right? So all you need to do is go ahead, find the appropriate plugin from here, and then you have to activate or upgrade. For example, I can do one for you. See, I do not have test management application activated here, right? I can't find test management application here. Let's go and find out if we have a test management application here in system plugins. Oh yes, I have this test management application. Now this is an application. ServiceNow folks have built this application, right? Again, this is a custom application, but what they have done is they have built this application on top of ITIL framework, and they have taken processes from the ITIL framework and then built this application and provided that application as a plugin for us to use in ServiceNow environment, right? This is not a mandatory application that you should be using or stuff like that. That's an optional application that you have in ServiceNow system, and available as a plugin, not even activated. You have to go ahead and activate it. Let's try to activate this application and see what happens. I hit on activate upgrade and then I do load demo data as well because I want to see if there are sample data available with this one. So I'll have this test management plugin activated with demo data and I'll hit activate button here. It will take a minute or two to install in this instance. By the time it activates itself, a quick sound check. Can you hear me okay? Can Shweta hear me now? Great, thank you. See, it has started building that application within my instance. And see, there are several XML files that it is referencing. You see here, plan underscore task dot XML. The next would be again some XML file, right? And we were talking about update sets. If you remember, we were talking about update sets, right? Again, update sets are some sort of XML file that keeps track of all the changes that we are doing on an instance, right? And then you can use that update set to let others import whatever changes that you have done within your instance. You will allow others or yourself to import that change that you have done in your instance to some different instance. That's a code promotion. That's a way to promote code from one environment to another environment. You can use that as a code promotion tool in moving your code from dev to test to production, or you can use that to move from your one instance to your another instance, stuff like that, right? Now see here, it says plugin activation is success and test management was activated. You can go ahead and see logs. You can go ahead and see plugin list, or you can close and reload form, right? I clicked on plugin list, so I am here. But let's go ahead in the application navigator and try to search test. I think it needs to refresh itself. Not just yet. See here. Now I see this test management application comes here. Okay. See, these are very popular these days within ServiceNow space. People are building their own applications and then they are selling those applications on ServiceNow Share, or they are allowing their applications to be available as plugins. They are bringing their custom applications on the plugins and let others use it, right? So as a developer, you could do all these activities. So let's go ahead and see. This test management application has certain modules available. You can go ahead and use this as a platform to do your test management cycle, right? So within your organization, you have a test plan in place for each of the projects that you have, right? And those test plans can be executed. You have test cases, you have test scenarios, right? You have use cases and stories, user stories for different applications. So all those stuffs can be maintained here, and you can track the status of each of the test cases and the defects that you log, etc. Right? Everything can be done here, right? And see, it shows the percentage complete, etc. Right? So this shows that this test plan, which is TMTP 001, is is at the particular state, and this test plan contains these number of test cases, right? And if you hit on this test case, it should give you details about the test case and the test steps that you have, stuff like that, right? So this way you can use this application. So again, this is a process-based application provided to you to use, but again, this is a built custom application that is certified by ServiceNow and is available for you to use, right? So this way you can have your own custom applications available for multiple users as well as a plugin. Now let's go to applications. I'll hit this new and I'll go ahead and pick this create custom application right now. Now let me quickly find out a scenario or a business case using which will be creating a custom application, right? I'll go ahead and pick. I have a I have some exercise created already. Now, this is the sample application. This is available on ServiceNow developer portal as well. And I'm using this business case to create application and to use all necessary required developer components, uh, you know, within for our training sessions. Now, this application would be, this is named as marketing event application, where an organization has requested to have a marketing event application. So specifically, the request came from the finance department, where they want to have an application that will keep track of all of the marketing events or campaigns they launch on different locations. So the idea is to do multiple campaigns or marketing events at multiple locations, and for those locations and those marketing events, they have to request some equipments, etc., so that the marketing event is successful, right? And then they maintain a list of attendees as well who will be attending the session, and then so the application will have all these features of adding attendees, showing the list of attendees, adding marketing event campaigns, showing the list of marketing event campaigns, adding equipments requests, showing the list of equipments available, and which equipment is tied to which marketing event, etc. And then there will be a workflow in place to support this application for the approval process of the equipment request that you are making, right? So this is the complete business scenario that we are going to build this application onto. Okay. Any question as of now?
So Rahul, so is this the thing which is requested by the customer so that we can create that for the customer, right?
Right, right. So in this case, in
So
this sample scenario that we have, the customer is finance team of that organization, right? The
okay,
organization's
so
finance team. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so the customers will give a request for us to create a application like create management application, right?
Yeah,
So we create for them in the real
right,
scenario,
right, right,
right? Yeah. Okay.
right. It could be anything. Like, see, I have worked on, several applications creation in using different technologies. So I can see that I can use ServiceNow platform to create applications of that sort using those technologies that I built earlier. I can see that I can build those applications here and let our users use the same application using ServiceNow technology, right? So whatever customer application that you think, I think you are able to build those applications here. That should be pretty much, available here. Okay. So get requirement from a customer, start building custom applications, and you have different tools available here. We'll see how it is. Now the requirement says create an application named marketing events, keep system generated roles and scope, etc. Right? Create a marketing events table according to the following specification. Create an equipment request table by extending the task table, make it as a module, right? Configure the layout of the marketing events table, etc. Configure the layout of the equipment request table. Configure the related list to show attachment and marketing events. Configure the list control to configure and add the value of city as these values. After module to alter module to rename modules as all equipment requests, etc. So these are the steps involved, right? A series of requirements here. Let's go ahead and create an application that says marketing events, right? I'll go here and create marketing events application here, marketing events. Before I do that, let's quickly go ahead and see the application scope. Right now, it is global, right? And the update set selected is integration techniques update set, right? And I know I have slightly discussed about update set. So what I'll do is I have to discuss about update set in detail later. But for now, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a local update set quickly so that whatever changes I do gets stored in that update set only and nothing nowhere else. I'll do this marketing events app update set. You is update set. Now you have option to submit and make current. I'll do this submit and make current, right? I'll go back here and see the application is global, update set is marketing events app update set, right? Now I'll go to the applications to understand why I did that, right? I wanted to have a single place, a single file where all these changes to the marketing event application will be stored at one place so that if, if I have to send this application to somebody else, let's say that I have created this application and you want to see this in your instance, right? Then what I can do is I can go ahead and download that update set and then give you a copy of that update set. You can go ahead and import that update set and whatever application I have created in that update set will be available to you in your instance. Make sense? Hope that makes sense. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do that. The moment I put this marketing events name here, see the rest of the fields. It brings you the scope, it brings you the menu, it brings you the user role. See, right? So it is creating different stuff for you by default. It is creating automatically. Out of which scope is the mandatory thing. You can see the name and scope is mandatory, right? If rest of these you can leave right now. You can go ahead and clear these and then create these later if required, right? But scope and name is mandatory. And if you see, there is a pattern of creating these things based upon the name that we supplied. There is a pattern that we are seeing. And the pattern is, see, this is x underscore 60982 underscore marketing, right? So it picked the first word marketing from the marketing events application name and appended to this x underscore 60982. Now you can ask what this 60982 is and why do we have X here, right? So this 60982 is the instance ID ServiceNow maintains, right? So they will append this instance ID here. Now, since this is a developer account, this is a free account, you get this ID appended to it, right? You always have to have this ID here. But in paid accounts, you might not have this ID there. You can have a substituted text there as well, right? You can have your table like your own table like M underscore ME underscore marketing or something like that, right? But ServiceNow will by default append this value here, which is the instance ID that they maintain internally. So they'll populate it here. So in the table, with this, if we create a table, the table name will also read something like this. If I create marketing event table, so it will be created like something like 6x underscore 60862 or 5 whatever, and then it will read marketing underscore event, right? So this is the table name that will be generated by default automatically, right? So this is the default pattern that I'm talking to you right now. So let's use this. I have kept marketing events as name, scope populates automatically. Menu, yeah, I want this menu. I'll have this marketing events menu here, right? You can change this as well. You can change anything. For example, if I do marketing events application, it will create marketing events application for you. Let's keep this user role here. And user role, as you would assume, is something used to provide access to different people, right? So whosoever is using your instance, you allow those people to access this application only if they have this user role, right? Again, a mechanism to have access control rule established for your instance and your application. Okay, I'm not going to create this table right now because I'll do that exclusively. I'll do that separately. If I hit this one, it will give you a default table creation option here, right? For example, see, it is it is automatically creating this x underscore 60982 marketing underscore events underscore table, right? I don't want to do this right now. I'll create this table later on and then include to that application. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and hit this create button. When I hit this, it asks me to confirm if I want to create this marketing events application. Okay, let's do okay. It started creating this application and this application has been created. You can go ahead and hit this edit app. When you do this edit app, it will take you to the studio, which is integrated development environment provided to you within ServiceNow, right? And remember, I'm talking to you as I'm talking to you about integrated development environment because this studio gives you every capability to build your application in ServiceNow. Now, you may think whether this studio was available all of the time in past. No. With each version ServiceNow releases, each release of ServiceNow they do add some functionalities. This studio functionality was not available until Fuji release, right? We talked about releases. There were certain releases that we had for ServiceNow. There are several releases that we had. For example, and they name this their releases on some catchy words or on some places, etc. So you will understand what I'm talking about. ServiceNow. So they had the initial releases had ServiceNow Calgary, then they had ServiceNow Dublin, then they had ServiceNow um, Eureka or something, then they had Galaxy, Fuji, Geneva, and the most recent version that we have here is Helsinki. And this Helsinki release was released on somewhere around May 5th or 7th this year. So it was released last month, right? So this studio, was introduced in this Geneva release, right? And will be continued to future releases as well. So most of the features they release are available in the successive releases that they make, right? Some of the features those were available here in the previous releases are also deprecated, or some of the programming practices that they advised to users earlier were deprecated, and newer programming concepts and programming capabilities were added to the recent releases. So they keep doing that, right? They'll keep introducing, innovating the platform using by providing different stuff, right? So that studio will be using to customize our application. Now see here, since we did this create application on this applications listing page, content page, now I now have one application created, which is marketing event application. right? Now, I see this edit button. Since this has been created, you have the ability to edit that application now. When you hit this edit button, it will open up the studio and you can go ahead and customize the application. However, there is one link here on the marketing events application as well. You can hit on this one and see certain details about the application right away from here. Without going into the studio, you can see the top level information about this application here. Okay. Now, let's say if you have 20 different custom applications, so you can use this search bar here to search your application. It will list out the application that you are trying to find out. Now let's see if this marketing event application appears in this application navigator. Let's quickly refresh to make sure that it is appearing here. See, right now we just created an entry for the marketing event application, right? This application doesn't have any module created right now. This application doesn't have any table created right now, right? But let's see if we have this listing here. No, since we have not created the modules or the tables, this application will not be displayed here. This will be an empty application that we have right now, right? So let's go ahead quickly and go back to the application section. Let's jump on to this edit button, open up the studio, right? And then let's see the requirement here. The requirement is to create a marketing events table. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this studio. So this studio has certain menus available. Okay, and then you have this create new application file button here that will give you different options to use any of these components within your application, right? File as to create a new file, again the same button here that you have. This is option. This is the option available here in the file menu as a file menu option here. You can do import from source control. Now see, source control you understand, right? Source control is when you are doing team development, meaning more than one person is working on some piece of code or building application or doing some stuff, right? Then how do you make sure that you are doing parallel development? How do you make sure that whatever changes that you are doing is available to other person working on the same application, right? So for that, what you do is you use some sort of source control mechanism, right? And source control, think of it as a single repository, here, which is a centralized repository, and then you have different users of that repository. For example, this is a user 1, user 2, user 3, and let's assume that we are talking about one application among the source control. The source control can have different n number of applications. Let's take an example that we have one application which is known as A1. Let's also assume that all of these 6 actors in the system are using A1 application right now. Right? All of these 6 actors who want to use this A1 application, and the files that are created in due course of creating this application are to be shared among each of these. So the source control would help you to get a copy of this application file. So what you do is you get a local copy of the file here somehow. This is a feature available, made available by these source controls. You get a local copy of the most updated file from this application repository here, and then you work on the local file, right? And then you push that local file to the application file here on source control, right? And before merging that, see, I'm using the term merging. Merging is because when you push that change here, somebody else might have also pushed that change here, right? And then you have to compare the two changes and see what are the relevant changes that you need to do, right? If you have to do some collision detection, you have to detect collision that might have because of the two changes that you both are doing, right? So you have to detect those changes, you have to avoid collisions, or you have to get rid of the those changes which are not required. One person makes changes, other person will have to review it and then push that code into this application repository, right? So it essentially what it does to you is it gives you ability to review your code and then make your code more safe, and all of the changes from all of these actors will be stored in one repository, right? So this is one of the ways of team development, having your team build your application or system, right? And all of these can be done using a single source control. So you can tie your ServiceNow instance to a source control as well, right? There are different plugins uh, available that you can use. I think there is one plugin available to attach your ServiceNow instance to Git as well. Git is a famous source control available. Developers quite frequently use it. Other way of doing this is you have a team development feature available in ServiceNow that you can utilize, and that in team development feature internally uses update sets. So all of the update sets that you have within your system, and those are complete, can be exported from one environment to another environment, and then you can there you can go ahead and then do review of the code. Then you can see what are the collisions that are available there, what are the conflicts, and then after reviewing those things you can merge those code into your environment. So stuff like that, you have those kind of features available in ServiceNow that will help you do team development. Okay, right now we'll focus on creating a table for ourselves. So I'll go ahead and you can either type tables here, and when you start typing table, the filter result will show you this table option here. I'll go ahead and click this table and to create. Now see, when I do this table, see, something is changing. When I select this, it is showing that this table record that I'm going to create will go into this table, which is sys underscore db underscore object table, right? If I go ahead and create a column in some sort of table created already, that goes into sys underscore dictionary table. If I go ahead and do table transformation map, that goes into sys underscore transform map table, right? So this shows you some information about whatever stuff that you are going to use. If you have many-to-many relationship, that goes into sys underscore m2m table. Relationship, sys underscore relationship. Forms, sys underscore ui underscore form. So this way, this gives you an idea of of where the information will be stored when you create a component here using Studio, right? So later, at a later point, if you want to go ahead and look into and find out information, the component that I created, where is that stored, right? If you want to do that, you can go ahead and look into the tables there, and then you will find your appropriate information, and then you can use pull reports, create reports, etc. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. Now let's go ahead, I'll go to data model, pick table, and I'll hit create. Now again, I think we are familiar with this table form. We used to open this form from tables and columns, and create table, right? So this is a similar form. If you see label, name, extends table, application, create mobile module, etc., etc. So you have the same field here, same screen here. Sorry. All you need to do is go ahead and use this specification to create your table. I'll go ahead and pick the marketing events name here and put it here. It will create X underscore 60982 marketing events table. I can go ahead and get rid of this extra marketing, and then that's it. This table does not have to extend any separate table. The other one is to extend this table, task table, which is equipment request table. So we don't need to extend any table right now for this marketing event table. We'll go ahead and leave it as is. Now here we'll create a module. I'm not going to create a mobile module. I'm just going to create this module here. And then I'll add module to this application that we created. And the application name that we created is marketing events application, right? Now let's go ahead and put some columns according to the specification that we have. The first specification is name. I'll go ahead and put the name field here. And the type is a string. I'll copy it. The lookup field will populate the string value here. I'll use this. I'm sorry. I'll select this type as a string. I don't want to put any reference. And display type is true. And the next one is city. Go copy it. Put city. City is also a string. Pick string. Display value has to be, oh, city is choice. So I'm going to put this as choice type. By doing choice, you are not allowing your users to type the name of the city there, right? You are allowing users to choose from the list of cities available. Now let's go ahead and pick this start date, which is a date type field. I'll put this start date here. Go ahead and pick date. Now see, when we have date, we have two things, date and time, right? And that's obvious. So you may like to use date versus date and time according to your requirement that you have there. See, rest of the fields are display false. So I leave them display false.
No idea.
Good evening, Sam.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, good. We're doing good. We are discussing about applications, and we are creating a sample application right now according to
Okay.
a sample business requirement that we have, right? So there we are. And we are recording this session as well. So feel free to ask any question if you have anything.
Okay.
So I just created an
So
application which is known as marketing events application, right? The sample requirement is to create a marketing event application for the finance team in my organization. The
okay.
finance team requested me to create an application that they will use to organize different marketing events for my organization, right? And when
Okay.
they are to organize these marketing events, they have to, provide a budget to that marketing event, right? For that, we have this budget field here, right?
Okay.
And there's a defined budget for that marketing event, and that marketing event will attract some of the attendees. So there could be some attendees, and there is a cost involved for that marketing event that we already defined for using this budget. And then
Okay.
this marketing event will require some of the equipment. For example, if it is supposed to be a presentation, I'll require some projectors or something. I'll require a laptop, a mouse, keyboard, etc. Right? So all these kind of hardware or equipments will be required. So there's a separate provision for doing a equipment request module where you will go ahead and request different equipment that is required for that marketing event, right?
So I have a question.
Sure.
So top one is all these are requirements, right?
Right, these are requirements. This is a sample requirement that we have created.
Okay. So we're going to create a table
Table and
and
application.
also mm-hmm,
See,
application table.
yeah, application table.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we are doing.
So it's a system table, right?
No,
It's kind of
no,
user table.
this is a custom table, the user table that we are going to create.
Yeah, custom the word I wanted to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. We created that application already. Let me summarize that. To create that application, I went into the application navigator and I typed applications here. And then within system applications application, I went ahead and picked
Okay.
this application. And then I hit this
Mm-hmm.
new button to create that application.
Okay.
New and create custom application here. Right? Provided
Okay.
that information and this application was created. I can see this application here, right? This sample application has
Mm-hmm.
been created, but then we have not created tables to this application, neither the modules. So that's something that we are doing right now. We are creating tables
Okay.
associated. We have this table, right? And the specification for the table is here in the requirement document. So
Mm-hmm.
budget and see the different types. I use a string type, I use a choice type, I am using two different date types, start date and end date, which will signify the start and end date of the marketing event. And then I have a currency field, which is a budget type, budget field here, which is a currency type.
Currency.
Then I'll go ahead and
Okay.
pick the sponsor. My marketing event can have a sponsor as well, who will contribute to the budgetary requirement that I have. Again, this is a sample
Okay.
requirement, so we are assuming that these are the things that we'll need for this marketing event application. So I'll have this
Mm,
sponsor as well here, and then it will list out number of attendees expected. Let's put it here, and that is supposed to be an integer field, int,
yeah.
and then I have number of attendees registered, right? So number of
Mm,
attendees registered could be more than the number of attendees expected, right? Or even less than that. That's possible.
okay.
Okay? Now see,
Are
out of these,
you, are you not, so in this case, you're not giving any maximum length or anything?
yeah,
I see
let's go
that
ahead
place.
and do that. Let's go ahead and put this name maximum field as 50. Okay? City, I don't want to do.
Okay.
Okay? The rest of the things. Okay, let's also do, no, I think we should stick to this
What
market,
happens
yeah.
if you don't put maximum length?
Sorry?
What happens if you don't put anything on the maximum length?
Yeah, then you have, I think you have several thousand characters that you can put in there.
Okay.
I believe 4,000 characters will be applied. So that will have, enough space for you to put that. It will be like, free text area that you'll have to put input values there. You can have n number of characters there. I think max value is
Okay.
4,000 or something. So you'll have that character limit here.
All right.
Okay. So let's do that.
Now, one question,
Sure.
Rahul.
Sure.
I see that you said maximum length, the display is true.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Is it true for because of the max length or is it true
no,
because
no, even if you get rid of this is not interrelated, right? The thing is, I kept this display value intentionally because I'm going to use this marketing events table on the equipment request table a form, right? And on that equipment
Okay.
request form, when I create an equipment request, I want to refer to this table, and while referring that, I want to display just the name of the marketing event, right? And nothing
Okay.
else. I don't want to
Okay.
display the city. For that
All right.
purpose, I am making this display true just to make sure that I am able to show this name of the marketing event only.
All right.
Okay. Now I don't want a auto number field here in this table, so I leave it blank. Extensible, I don't want to do that right now. Live field, no. User role, yes. I leave this user role created automatically, and this application access is supposed to be default for now, right? Now there is a checkbox
Okay.
that you might see which is saying allow access to this table via web services, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from yesterday's session we talked about Sam's Pizza Company and we discussed about web
Yeah.
services, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you check this, you are allowing this table to be accessed via web services. Okay?
Okay.
We'll discuss about these later, right? Let's not do that right now. Now let's go ahead and submit this. This will create a table and a module for us into the system. Here we go.
Now,
Yep.
when I have a question on the module,
You're breaking up, Sam. I could not hear you.
when you click, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
When you click, I saw that you marked the module.
Right.
So when you mark the module,
Mm-hmm.
that means you're going to create a sub module name, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Let's see here.
So, mm-hmm.
I'll go here. I'll refresh it. Try to populate marketing event. Marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me refresh it. See,
Mm-hmm.
I now have this marketing events application populated here, and within that marketing
And the
events
sub
application, I can
module.
see a module which is marketing events.
Okay.
Okay, so that relates to
Okay.
this
So
table that we have.
under the application, you created a table for the marketing events, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now now you can go ahead and hit this one, marketing events. When you hit this, you'll see a list view, and it contains the fields that we created. And like we did
Mm-hmm.
see earlier, when we create a table, the default columns are created. The system default columns are created by itself. See this created
Yeah.
by, created, sys ID, updates, updated by, updated, right? These are created by
Yeah.
itself automatically. Now let's go here and see how this form looks like. When I click this one, it will show me this name field, city, end date, start date, budget, number of attendees expected, number of attendees registered, and sponsor.
Now, I
Yep,
have a question.
sure.
On the city, I see none
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
like a listing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to display none?
See, I created this choice field.
Choice.
Yeah, city is a choice field, but I then did not specify any choice value to this city,
Yeah.
right? So you can create
Mm-hmm.
choice fields or choice values to this city field because this is you can go ahead and hit that city field here, and then you can go ahead and create choice
Mm-hmm.
values,
Okay.
right? This is one way of doing that. Another way is right click on this label, do configure dictionary or do configure choices. When you do configure choices, you land upon this screen and let's
Okay.
see from the list of choices available. I want to create these many city choices here. First one is New Delhi, which is my native place. So
Yeah.
I'll keep New Delhi on top of the list. Then I have Hyderabad.
Mm-hmm.
Let's add quickly
Okay.
Washington. Let's keep New York, Sydney, London, Denver, Parker, some more,
Chicago.
Chicago, some more. Or maybe that's sufficient. Let's save it. Here we go.
Ah. Okay.
Okay, that's pretty simple. First way is to do configure choices. Go ahead and pick these values. Let's go ahead and put Phoenix in here using this. I can go ahead and do create choice. So that's another way of doing this thing, right? I'll go ahead and do create choice list.
Okay.
We already have these places added. Now I want to have Phoenix in here,
Yeah.
right? See,
Okay.
it took all the details by default, right? So there are value fields, and display
Mm-hmm.
fields. Display fields are the
Okay.
values that you see here, the text that you
Mm-hmm.
see, and these are value fields.
Yeah.
When you select New Delhi, the value that will be picked is New Delhi, right? If you want to make this
Mm-hmm.
as number field, for example, if you want to do this, when you select New Delhi, the system will internally pick this value 1.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the concept of display and value field. So you can
Okay.
decide what pattern you want to have within your application and how do you want to store data within your system, right? So that's totally on your decision. How do you want to store data? Okay. So we added one more place here, which is Phoenix. Let's go back and see if the Phoenix is coming here. I will have to refresh. To refresh, I'll go to this gray bar here, right click and reroute form. Here we go. Phoenix is on top of the list,
Yeah.
right? Now let's go ahead and see if we can put a proper order to this list. Can we do that, right? I wanted that New Delhi should be on top of the list, but now I see that Phoenix is on top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
If you have noticed, there is a sequence field. New Delhi was 0, Hyderabad 1, Washington 2, Phoenix doesn't have any. I'll go ahead and put 9 for Phoenix and save it, update it, go back and reload it. See, Phoenix is in the bottom of the list. Make sense?
Okay.
You are breaking up. I can't hear you.
So where did you put finish? Where did you?
You're breaking up. I'm not sure if this is a problem on my end or Samsung. Uh, all of you are able to hear me properly? Sweta, Vikrant. Yeah. So looks like it's a problem on Samsung, right? Yeah. Okay. And Ishita, I think I got an email from Nikita. I don't remember your name, please. If you can introduce yourself to us, please. Ishwarya.
So Rahul, I have a question.
Yeah.
So we have entered the display value as true for the name, right? When we are creating the columns.
Yep.
So we have entered all other values as false. So I can see all of them are displaying here.
Oh,
What's the difference between that?
that's a good question. That was a little bit confusing for you. So if you remember, I
Mhm.
said like this display field I'm going to use when I am referring to this marketing events table from a different form, not just this form. I want to display all these fields on the current form, which is marketing events form. But think from the
Mhm.
perspective, if I have an equipment request form where I want to make an equipment request, but then I want to pull out a list of marketing events, and from that list I'll want to show a particular marketing event on that equipment request form, right? So that equipment request form will refer to this marketing event form in some way. And when I refer to this marketing event form, I want to display just this name and not all of these information.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Okay?
I got it.
So that's a
Yeah.
reference that you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think I think Sam has a bad line, bad internet connection or something. We'll answer his questions later. So this is how we created this marketing event application. I'm quickly going to create the other tables as well. This is done. Let's go ahead and create equipment request table by extending the task table. Make it as module, and within the equipment request, I have these fields to be added. Right? Let's go ahead and do that. I'll quickly go ahead and create another table. Pick this, create, and I'll mark this as equipment equipment request, marketing equipment request, and then it's a type field, and I have to extend the task table here because when we create this equipment request, we want to make sure that this request creates a task as well, and that task is assigned to somebody within the system. I'm not going to create this mobile module, but I'm going to add this equipment request to the module list in the marketing event application. I'll leave it here. I'll go ahead and put equipment type. Don't want to put just the type here, that will confuse us. So I'll put equipment type, and equipment type will be string field. I'll go ahead and put cost, and cost would be,
Rahul,
yep,
I've lost your screen.
is it?
I don't see it. This is Sam.
Yep. No, that's fine. I think there is some issue on your end. All of others are able to see my screen.
Yeah, the screen is stagnant. So let me go out and reconnect.
Right.
I'll be back.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem.
Mm. I think so.
Needed from, and then I'll have to put a date here, date field.
Come back.
Then we'll do needed until. Again a date field.
Submit. My internet is slow.
And here's the
And
marketing
display.
events field that I'm going to put, and that will be our reference. That would be a reference, and the reference field would be this.
And display.
Make sense, Vikram? This is the marketing event list that I want to show on the equipment request form, right? That's it. Don't want to do extensible, live feed, auto number. Rest will remain same. I'll go ahead and submit it. Let's submit it. A new module will be created, and that's for equipment request. Let's go ahead and refresh this. I'll refresh the page here. Go to marketing. See, I now have equipment request as a module available here within marketing events application. Okay. Now let's quickly go into the marketing events equipment request module, and again it's a list of records that you are seeing, list layout. I'll hit on this new. Now you see there are different fields available here, right? The number field, we didn't specify the number field, we didn't specify assign to configuration, etc., right? But then we inherited the task table here. We extended the task table. So these are the fields that are coming from the task table. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of the fields which are from the task table. I don't want to show all those fields to our users.
Okay, I'm back.
Sure. What was your question, Sam, before you went out?
Oh, I couldn't see your screen, so it was like fixed. Now I can see it. You are moving.
Okay. Okay. So while you were away, I went ahead and created a new table which is for equipment requests, right? And the table looks like this, where this table, equipment request table, we have extended task table to it, and then the custom columns that we created are last one. It's not refreshing. Yeah. So these are the custom columns: cost, equipment type, marketing events, needed from, and needed until, right? And then we have columns from the task table and the system generated columns related to this table. Now on this form, I don't want to show that the fields from the task table appear here. I don't want to show this number field, assigned to, configuration item, etc. So we'll go ahead and get rid of these. I'll go ahead on the form layout and get rid of this number field. Don't want this assigned to, don't want this configuration, don't want this active, neither priority, no state, not parent, nothing. I don't want all these things. All I want is to have my default fields, which are equipment type, first one. I'll drag this equipment type here, put this equipment type. Then the other fields are cost, so I'll pick cost from here, drag drop here. Next is needed from, so I'll scroll down, get needed from, get needed until as well, and then I'll get marketing event. That's it. Now see, the first one, the first layout that we have here in the first section, which is equipment request section, is having this drop down value 2. When you do 2, it splits the layout into 2 columns. However, when you have this one as 1, you only have 1 column available. If I split this to 2, I'll have a 2 column view, and I can put these here, right? And then I can put a label to these sections, equipment request, and then I'll put a label to this as well, something like detail, and then I'll go ahead and save it, right? Once saved, I'll go back to the form. See, this is the layout that was presented to me for the equipment request earlier. So I'll go ahead and reload the form, and the layout has changed now, right? I have the equipment request, and it has equipment type, cost, needed from, needed until, marketing events, right? And within the marketing events, if I hit this, I'll see this name field, right?
Oh.
And this is why I kept display is equal to true for the name field, and I kept rest of the fields as false. Let's quickly go back and make city as true as well. Update it. City. Just saved. City is true now. Let's go back. Let's reload. Try to open it. Hang on a second. Reload it. Marketing event. Equipment request. New equipment request. It should show the city field as well here.
Rahul,
Yep.
I have a question. So I think I lost you over there. When you created the
We lost Sam again.
mm,
Sam, you are breaking up. Maybe you can type your question. I can't hear you, Sam. Can't hear you, Sam. Now, I think he'll have to come back again. Let's quickly go ahead and fill out some information. I'll go to marketing events first, and I'll identify that I want to do some, let's say I want to do Washington Roadshow. This is the name of the event. I'll go ahead and pick Washington. The start date for this roadshow will be, let's say, August 23rd to, it will be August 26th. The budget for this marketing event is $5,000. The number of attendees expected is, let's say, 45. And the sponsor is, let's say,
I can hear you now.
yep.
My network is from here. My network is giving me problem.
No
Okay.
problem. You can ask your question now.
Oh, I was asking that when you created the equipment request, you did it the same way you did the marketing event, right?
Right.
Or you connected it somewhere?
No, this was created in the same way, but we extended this task table here. Only addition was extending the task table, right?
Okay.
When we extended this task table, we have now fields from the task table coming in here, right?
Oh, okay.
And some of these fields were getting displayed on the form, on the equipment request, and I didn't want to show all those fields on this equipment request form. So I went ahead and configured the form design, and using the form designer, I got rid of all those fields that I didn't want to show on the form and picked only those fields that I wanted to display on the form.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now using those fields, we are now creating some records using those forms. See here, the first one is Washington Roadshow that I created. Let's go ahead and quickly create Denver demonstration. Name of the marketing event. Put Denver here. I want to do on 31st of July, and that should end on, let's say, 4th of August. 1,000 attendees are expected to come out of 1,200 registered attendees, and that sponsor is, let's say, Apple. And the budget is, let's say, $50,000. I'll submit it. The 2 records created. Now let's go ahead and create an equipment request. Now I know that I'll need a projector. The cost of the projector is, let's say, $200, $300. And I specify that I need a Sony projector and need it from, let's assume that we need it from 31st of July, and it will be needed until 4th of August. And I want to pick Denver demonstration as the marketing event, and then I submit it. See, right now I am seeing Denver only here. And the reason behind this is we went ahead and made this city display value as true. Let's go ahead and make this as true for the name field, which is the marketing event. And let's make it, let's save it. Right? And let's go back and reload the form. Now that I have reloaded the form, it gives me the Denver demonstration instead of Denver. So it is giving me the marketing events name here. Make sense? Right? So pick that field to make as display field, which is to be displayed on the form. Now, so initial 2 requirements are fulfilled. 3. The first one is done. We created this application. We created this marketing events table using this specification. We created this task equipment request table by extending the task table and made it as a module, because we now see the 2 modules created here. We configured the marketing events form and created a layout for it. And we configure the equipment request form. We configured layout for that as well. Now it is saying to configure the related list and show attachment and marketing events form on the equipment request. If I go on the equipment request here and hit this one, I want to show the list of all available marketing events here or associated marketing events on this equipment form. And that comes as a related list. And we talked about related list. It's a list of records which is related to this record. That's a related list. Right click on it, do configure related list. When I do that, I'll go here and I'll pick where is that? Do you see? Give me equipment request parent. Go here. Right click, configure related list. Should show to us the list of marketing event here. Somehow it is not showing to me the the marketing event list here. So I'll see why we are not getting the marketing event request here, list here. But let's quickly put that parent request here, and when I do that, see I have a new related list created here, which is equipment request. The idea is to put a related list here. See the related list? Configure related list to show attachment on the marketing events form.
Okay.
Right? On the marketing events form, I go here, configure related list, get the attachment here, and get the both these lists here, and I save it. When I do that, I'll get the list of the attachments and the equipment request as a related list available here on this marketing event form. Okay? So you are showing
So
related.
at this point,
Yeah, go ahead.
there's no attachment. At this point, there's no attachment, right?
Yeah, because we didn't attach anything here. So we can go ahead and put an attachment. We can pick any file. Let's pick a file here. Any file. Let's put this one. That's getting uploaded. And then now this is attachment available to this.
Okay.
Okay? And see, to this attachment record as well we have a table sys ID created. Right? So every record that you create in system, there will be a sys ID attached to it. And you can identify that item using this sys ID. Okay? So requirement number 6 is fulfilled. Let's go ahead and see requirement number 7. That's also fulfilled. We populated the city control, list control with these values by creating the choice list there. That's also done. Let's go to the 8th requirement, which is alter module to rename the modules as all equipment request. Let's go back here. The module is equipment request right now. But the requirement says I want to change the name of this equipment request to all equipment request. The easiest way to do that is come to this star mark that you have here. Right click, edit module, go here, put all equipment requests, save, go back, refresh the instance, go to the marketing event application, and now you see a new module name which is all equipment requests available. Okay?
Okay.
So this way you can change the module name. Now it asks you to put appropriate hint to display on this module. Hint, you understand? We talked about hints earlier. Like in the instant application, if I go here, let's see if it has a hint. Let's see, change application has a hint. Doesn't have any hint. So I'll go ahead and pick marketing events application, and I'll right click it, edit module, and put a hint here. This is a hint, right? And I'll save it. Go back, refresh the page, go to the marketing event application, and now I can hover on it and see the hint. Okay? The black pop-up that we have as hint. So this way you can put a hint for your users to understand what this module is for. Okay? So that's another requirement that we have here. Now the next one talks about creating a UI policy, etc. I think that's enough for today. Let's do one thing. I'll give this as an assignment to you up until item number 8, or maybe I can provide this document to you.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you to do this application for me. Create this application within your instance and come back to me with the work that you do there. I'm sure you will have certain questions, and then we'll try to answer your questions that you have, the issues that you face.
Okay.
Okay? And
Now we should do the same thing that we did today.
yeah, the same thing, but you have to do on your own, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam Vikrant, this is your correct email, right? Then I have Sirisha is
Yeah.
not here. Then I have Shweta. I forgot the email ID. Let me see. I have a list of people here. Shweta's email ID is this. I'll put it here. Then I have Sirisha. I don't know why Sirisha hasn't joined today, but she needs this. Abhi. Abhi. Abhi, this is your email ID, right? I'll put it here.
Yes.
Private application. And I'll go ahead we need to do it until step number 8, right? Here we go. So you have this assignment attached to it.
Okay.
So tomorrow is we are taking a rest, and I'm sure you need some time to do this. So tomorrow we are taking a rest, and then we'll talk to you day after, same time. Okay, and then we'll review this requirements and the application that you build, and we'll answer to questions, and then we'll follow the rest of the requirements and create more components within the application. Sounds good?
Okay, so tomorrow there won't be any class.
Right.
On Sunday here, will there be any class?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Your Sunday is
well,
my Monday morning, so I can do a class on that day.
yeah. On Sunday here, I may be able to go up to. What time this lady? My wife closes by 11, so probably up to 10:30. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. Fine with everybody else?
I may miss. I
Yes.
can be on up to 10:30.
No problem. Right. All right then. So we meet day after, same time, and we can catch up, Sam. If you have some questions, we'll answer those questions on the call. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I think you have that email, and you can go ahead and start working on that. And I'm going to upload these two videos, video from today and video from yesterday, in next couple of minutes.